Brand New Day is in the theaters. I mean, who has not been waiting for this one? Nobody I found until now called the film bad straight away. But if a movie gets everyone talking, I do talk about it. Second biggest opening weekend in box office history. Marvel turned Sadie Singh's role into a year-long mystery. This is Tom Holland's most fluid Spider-Man yet. Peter's greatness does not come from being the strongest person in the room. Gave Peter Parker a completely unexpected person to connect with. Like Marvel actually took those lessons seriously. Even if the internet is already full of spoilers, you still have a reason to go watch the film. The internet has already done enough damage. Hi, welcome to the Cult Sage. I am not the one who talks about movies, but if a movie gets everyone talking, I do talk about it. And I am back again with a brand new talk. Spider-Man Brand New Day.
What is happening to me?
I mean, who has not been waiting for this one? I remember when the trailers for this rolled out, people were not talking good about it. But now the game seems to have changed. Brand New Day is in the theaters. The love it received during its opening weekend already says everything. It was just a few millions away from being a $1 billion opener. Today, we will cover what is being praised about this film, where is it lacking, and is it worth the talk. But before we begin, let's take a second to appreciate the success Spider-Man Brand New Day has just pulled off at the box office. This movie crossed the $1 billion worldwide mark in just 6 days of release, becoming the second fastest film in cinematic history to reach this milestone. The movie had already made a massive $927 million worldwide in its opening weekend, with $335 million from the US alone, also making it the second biggest opening weekend in box office history. And it was not just the US going crazy. China led with $121 million, while the UK, Mexico, and even India with $31.8 million delivered huge numbers. At this point, a $2 billion finish doesn't even sound impossible anymore. But here is the wildest part. Brand New Day didn't even have IMAX screens in the US. Christopher Nolan's film The Odyssey had them booked. Despite missing one of the most premium formats, Spider-Man still delivered one of Bollywood's biggest openings ever. If that doesn't tell you how insane the hype was, I don't know what will. People are calling Brand New Day the strongest Spidey film of Marvel Cinematic Universe. Action sequences are more dynamic than the previous Spidey films. The fights combine acrobatics, practical stunt work, and creative web use rather than sole reliance on CGI. The action is clearly choreographed and easier to follow. It feels like moving with him. The web slinging is smoother, faster, and more natural, showcasing speed, weight, and momentum. Peter is lonelier this time and more burdened due to past events of No Way Home. Tom has portrayed it really well for Peter. I heard Tom Holland on the Fandango Big Ticket interview saying he did work on it. He had made his fans' voices reach the creators to bring out that street-level movie that is relatable and feels more like our neighborhood hero. One thing almost everyone seems to agree on is that this is Tom Holland's most fluid Spider-Man yet. No matter how mixed the views are on other matters, almost all people relate with the emotional stakes of this film. Spider-Man movies are known for those little emotional alleys that keep connecting us to the human being inside us rather than being just about a superhero universe. More than just a superhero, you will get to see Peter as a person who is exactly like you, like all of us, especially in today's world, living in a city while feeling completely alone, watching friends move on while you are emotionally stuck, missing people who no longer know you, learning that independence is not the same as emotional strength. The film reminds people that everyone needs someone to lean on. Peter's greatness does not come from being the strongest person in the room. It comes from remaining compassionate and powerful while carrying ordinary human pain. One is surely going home with a message after watching this one. While Peter refuses to kill, Frank Castle believes in lethal force. John Bernthal received wide praise for fitting so well into this role without losing his Punisher edge. Although some fans say the movie softens him too much at times, their clash creates both tension and humor in the film. Their brotherly relationship adds a natural and warm touch in the movie, giving another reason to fans to appreciate this dynamic. It is the highlight of the film. Marvel turned Sadie Singh's role into a year-long mystery, and it got fans into analyzing literally everything: her hair, her interview, the psychic imagery in the trailers, even questioning why Marvel was hiding a character who seemed so obvious. And the internet eventually solved the puzzle anyway. In this movie, Sadie Singh is not just a cameo, she becomes deeply entangled with Peter's story, initially putting the two against each other before the relationship slowly turns into an uneasy alliance. Singh is getting some of the strongest praise in the movie. Her Jean Grey is powerful but also vulnerable and deeply conflicted. And Peter becomes one of the few people who can actually reach her, not by overpowering her, but by reminding her that she still has a choice. That relationship has obviously divided fans. Some love the idea of Spider-Man being Jean's moral anchor. Others are asking, why is Jean Grey's story being introduced to Spider-Man in the first place? It could have been saved for the X-Men. And honestly, that is probably the most interesting thing Marvel has done here. They gave Peter Parker a completely unexpected person to connect with. Whether that connection should have existed at all is another debate. But Sadie Singh has made people care about it. One thing that seems to have genuinely surprised people about Brand New Day is how the film looks. There is already a perception that the Tom Holland Spider-Man films never had quite the same visual identity as Sam Raimi or even Andrew Garfield's movies. But this time it feels like Marvel actually took those lessons seriously. The cinematography is more intimate, more atmospheric, and noticeably darker. The close-ups feel more haptic. You can feel the impact of a punch, the movement of the body, the tension on Peter's face, and when Spider-Man starts swinging, the camera doesn't just show him moving through New York, it makes you feel like you are moving with him. The point of view shots and action choreography have received some of the strongest reactions. Even people who were skeptical after the trailers seem to have changed their minds after seeing the finished film. Those who watched this movie in ScreenX formats say that the expanded peripheral frame works particularly well during the swinging sequences because suddenly Spider-Man is not just moving across your screen, he is moving around you. Interesting, right? Even the overall palette seems different from Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. It is darker, more grounded, and more mature. Instead of constantly chasing multiverse scale threats, Brand New Day brings Spider-Man back down to the street level. No universe-ending crisis, just Peter grounded in New York and problems that actually feel close to home, making New York feel like Spider-Man's playground again. Nobody I found until now called the film bad straight away. The criticism is actually quite specific about this film. A section of people feel that the story is too crowded with the mutant storyline plus the wide MCU setup, sometimes taking attention away from Peter himself. Some also point towards the absence of a truly memorable central villain, while for a few fans, Peter's emotional journey still does not hit as hard as Tobey or Andrews did. Yes, it is definitely worth the talk. One thing about movies I would like to say is no matter how much they are connected to the previous part, they must be whole in themselves. So if a newbie To the franchisee, what is the film? They should still be able to understand the complete story. Spidey has successfully done it. Plus, you are taking home a few life lessons too. That loneliness is not failure, sacrifice is often unseen, kindness is a decision, not a mood. Being independent is not the same as being emotionally healthy. You can lose almost everything and still choose to remain a good person. That's all about it. Even if the internet is already full of spoilers for Spider Man Brand New Day, you still have a reason to go watch the film. No amount of review can really describe what it feels like to see it with your own eyes. Thank you for staying until this part of the video. Keep watching for more.